Welcome to Born for the Trades. I'm your host, Mandeep, and sitting virtually next to my co-host, Shreya.
Hi, everybody.
Today, we have amazing guests on our show, and his name is Dan Antonelli, President and Chief Creative Officer of KickCharge Creative. Is a recognized leader in reshaping home service business branding with over 25 years of experience. He has authored notable books like Building a Big, Small Business Brand and the amazing bestseller Branded, Not Branded. Right, Dan?
Yep, that's it.
Welcome to our show, Dan.
Welcome,
Thank
Dan.
you. I'm so stoked to be on here. I finally got the invite. I feel like I got called up from the minor leagues to be in the major leagues now, and I'm really excited to be here.
Join us as we dive deep into the world of home service entrepreneurship, interacting with industry leaders, coaches, and entrepreneurs about their experiences, challenges, and victories. Through their inspiring stories, we hope to equip our listeners with the tools and knowledge they need to succeed in the competitive home service industry. So whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, tune in to Born for the Trades podcast for invaluable insight and real-world inspiration.
And I know when you mentioned that, Dan, we love you from day one, and your name is on our top of the list. And I told you the reason that we were waiting. You were on everyone's podcast, and Shreya and I said, like, okay, we just gotta wait. And
yeah,
here
we
you
can't
are.
stop hearing about you, which is a great thing. But honestly, you can't. I hear about you in private meetings, on Facebook, on the podcast. So, as a celebrity in the industry and everything, thanks for taking the time out of your day to come meet and talk with us. And wanted to really congratulate you on your new venture and talk about that today and how that's going to change KickCharge. Sorry, I was looking at my meetings are called Kickstart meetings.
No,
So,
congratulations. Yeah.
how did
Thank
this
you.
partnership with Tommy come about? Can you kind of tell us the backstory of how this happened?
Yeah, Tommy and I were talking, probably about maybe 6 to 10 months ago about, we knew at that time that he was working with PE on his own firm with A1 Garage. And he said, after that deal goes through, I really want to do something with you because I share that vision and that mission that you have of trying to figure out how we can help even more home service companies. And so I want to help you grow. I want to help you reach more people and be able to serve the trades. And so like for me, like that was, it wasn't it wasn't about the money. It wasn't about, hey, we can get rich doing this. It was, hey, we can really affect more and more people with this mission that we both share. And I'm sure you guys are huge fans of Tommy's and what he believes in.
Right.
And so for me, it was really intriguing. It was like, well, I mean, not that I've taken it as far as I can take it, but we've grown every year and we grow incrementally, but this was an opportunity for us to really accelerate the growth and to put some real efforts into marketing. Like we're a branding agency and a marketing agency that does really no marketing.
Right.
So
because
like
everybody knows who you are. It's
yeah,
word of
so
mouth, right?
we're blessed with that piece of it, but it was just like, hey, we can, like, this year I think we're gonna probably brand maybe 250 home service companies. And Tommy's idea is like, listen, I want us to be doing 500 a year. I want to figure out how we get to 500. And so you just kind of work backwards as far as, well, what would we need? Like, it's not that impossible when you think about the resources that you need to sort of make that happen. So, we started planning like, well, what would it look like? How many more people would we need? And staffing up. And so that's the part that we've been really working on, is to build infrastructure so that we can really manage that growth. I mean, for a while, like 6 months ago, we were probably booked out a solid 6 months just to start with us.
Yeah.
Right.
And so like, I hated that because, there's people that really need help now, and like we couldn't help them. So we're like, we'll take a deposit and, then you could wait your turn and we'll help you when we can. But, we've got that time down to about 2 months now, which I think is a reasonable time period to be able to
2 months,
work.
2 months is great, because I know a lot of our even clients, they wanted to get the branding done, and you like you said, like 6 months you were out. So
Yeah.
what did you do to ramp that up? Like, do you add more resources?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
okay,
yeah. We now have 5 full-time brand people on staff, plus me. I probably count like a half of a person.
including you. Take a break, Dan.
Half of a person.
So we added more staff there. We added more designers on staff. We added more writers on staffs. So we've been working on that. It's a very difficult skill set to find as far as people that are really skilled in developing brands, because it's not just how do we develop a cool logo. It's how do we think about brand story? How do we integrate this into a meaningful truck wrap design? How do we create visuals that will connect with consumers? Like, so there's a lot. It's not just like, I want to say, that most graphic designers really are not brand people. They're
Right.
really good at graphic design, but designing brands and how they live in those other environments is a very unique skill set. So
Illustrators. I
during the
remember
part,
you mentioned that illustrators, like that
yeah,
you definitely need a solid like illustrator
yeah,
that knows about, like, brand.
100%, yeah. So, but one by one, like, we've been finding really good people and just adding them to the staff. And what's nice about that too is now with those additional designers and brand people on staff is we have so many different vantage points of different designers. So now, instead of like me and one other designer collaborating, or 2 other designers, now we've got like a team of people who bring different skills and assets to the equation as well. So maybe one is a little bit better at illustration, and the other is amazing at typography. And so the collaboration between basically 6 of us at this point is crazy, because like where we start and then where we finish is it's so much better product, because we've got sort of this firepower of all these amazing designers on staff now. So we have a Slack channel that we share all our work in, and we all collaborate that way. And it's just really cool to see how we arrive at a brand, because it's sometimes a combination of like 5 of us, where our sort of fingerprints are all into this one finished product. And it's better than when it was just 2, 3, or 4 of us. It's just gotten better because there's more people that bring that experience to the table. And so,
I agree.
between all the team that we have, I mean, we've got to be pushing close to 4,000 or 5,000 brands collectively that we've all designed over our careers. So that,
Wow.
that experience, like, is somewhat unparalleled, I think, to pull all those resources together in one single place, I think is pretty cool.
By the way, that's a great number. I thought like it was like close to 2,500, but
so it's 2,000 that KickCharge has done on its own. It's like, 2,500 roughly on its own. But you add in, these guys and what they've been doing in their entire careers, and you add that to the mix, and it's a lot.
Makes sense. Yeah,
A bunch of artists.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. And now looking at like, that's like amazing collaboration with Tommy, and to reach maximum like home service industries to help them with the branding. So what's your goal? Like what's your strategy to revamp how to outreach to that level to help as many as contractors? What's your strategy, like marketing standpoint?
One of the things that we really want to try to leverage more is do a lot more video. We very rarely have done any video. I mean, things like this are great, but talking about the results from the owner perspective is what we have not done hardly any of. I know people go on your show and they may talk about the experience and kind of what it means to them. But, one of the things about brand that I think is overlooked in the process, when people say, I want to get a new brand, I don't think they really understand on the other side of that equation how it affects so many other things. And so that message, I want to try to get that out more. So we got a really awesome new logo. We got awesome new uniforms. We got a kick-ass truck wrap. But it gave me the confidence to believe that we could do more. It made my employees more confident that they could sell at higher average tickets. It made my
Yes.
marketing work so much better because people knew our name and didn't have to rely on Google to delivering it. So there's so many of those aspects of the story, and I talk about it in the book, but I think from a owner perspective, hearing another owner talk about how the brand has affected not just the marketing, but the culture. You know, you look at
Right.
Amanda, and I think, did you guys have Amanda on your show yet? Amanda Triola from Grasshopper?
I just
Not
reached
yet.
out to
Okay.
her.
You
Yes.
have to get her on, but you know, what she's been able to build, I think is just a great example of a brand and a name that we came up with, we created for her. And I went to visit her facility, and you walk inside and you see
It's
what this
amazing.
brand means.
Yes.
And she doesn't have recruitment problems. She doesn't have marketing problems. You know, it's
Mm,
people, you know, already know what it's like to work there because of the messaging that she puts out there. And you know, she's got people that her problem is turning away people because there's too many people that want to work there. You
I
know, so
bet.
you know,
Because the
that's
work
kind of,
culture, because of the
yeah.
amazing work culture she has like built.
Exactly. And then you look at her booking rates, like, you know,
Yeah.
so booking rates is like 93%. Well, why is it 93%? It's because the people calling them already have an expectation as far as what it is that Grasshopper means and signifies and delivers. So, you know, getting some of those stories out through video. You know, Tommy obviously is a really big believer in this. And I think Tommy is also just a really good example of someone. You see owners sometimes make the argument that they're too big to change or they're too big to rebrand.
Yeah.
Right.
And Tommy was at 30 million or so when we rebranded him 3 years ago. And by all benchmarks, you would say he was killing it, right? Like, who, you know, why would you change at a $30 million company? Obviously something was working to get it to $30 million, but he looked at it and it says, well, yeah, we got to 30, but maybe we could have been at 50 if we had a better brand. You know, so
Totally.
it's more mindset about that, as far as knowing that nothing you're doing today is good enough for tomorrow. And that whole idea that, you know, the comfort zone is a beautiful place that nothing grows in. You know, that
Right.
whole mindset he really believes in. And so I think, you know, just the thought of working with him, figuring out ways that we can get this messaging out there. And I also, if you've read Tommy's book, Elevate, you hear him talk about what it means to be an owner and to basically share the rewards with the people who work for you. And so it wasn't so much of, well, I want to do this. And even me personally, like, it wasn't about me doing this because of what it meant for me. It was like, well, what would this mean for the company? Like, what could we do
Right.
for the employees? How can we leverage this to build an even better place and give more to the team, right? So I think that the aspect of where he comes from and the mindset of how he treats his employees was attractive to me, because it wasn't about, hey, Dan, let's do this and we'll both make a lot of money. It was like, hey, let's do this and we could both help a ton more people. And that mindset is appealing to me because it's not, I mean, listen, we all want to make a good living, but it was more the mindset is driven from a pure perspective, and the motive was really the right motive. So, you know, I probably could have sold, you know, or sold a company, you know, many times, but it just wasn't about the right partner at those particular points.
You found the right partner at the right
Yeah,
time, and Tommy is all about like achieving dreams of their employees,
yeah,
those who work for you.
right.
And that's
That's
amazing.
exactly right. The right phrase there, Mandeep, is the dreams, right? So how can I help, and how can we help more people achieve their dreams, right? How can
Right.
Yeah.
we leverage this opportunity? So like I said, we've got some big goals, and it's really exciting. And personally for me, I just also like the fact that I'm 28 years of running this agency by myself, right? So sometimes that's a lonely place to be in. You know,
It,
Mandeep, you know what it's like. Like
I,
sometimes it's
it is. I just want to add one thing here for the
Mhm.
listeners, like, to all those entrepreneurs, it's lonely at the top. And that's what exactly you just said, Dan. It's lonely at the top. I know, like, you have your amazing team, you have beautiful family, everything, but you're lonely at the top.
Yeah. And so now it's just nice that like I can send him a text any point of the day. I get a response right away. And if it's a win that I'm sharing with him, he shares that enthusiasm with me. And he, you know, he's able to, you know, it's just nice feeling like you've got another person. Like my team here was always like that. Like, I don't want you to think that I, you know, was completely alone, but it's different, you know? So like having him vested in our success and sharing his ideas about things we can do, to me was just very different, but it's just been, you know, an amazing thing for me. So I'm really grateful to Tommy and, you know, it was just, you know, again, just a tremendous opportunity that we have to do more for the trades. I mean, I'm so grateful for what the trades has done for me, my team, and, you know, the gratitude that we all feel when we get those texts and those messages like, oh my God, like, you know, we just hit this revenue goal, or, you know, I just had to hire 5 more people. Like there's so many lives being impacted and changed by what we're doing. And honestly, you know, I can't see it getting old. You know what I mean? Like, you know what it's like, you know, the deal,
I know.
like you see this probably all the time, Shrey, and the stuff that you do and how the stuff that Joe talks about, and then what it does to that company. And sometimes they don't even change things about like they hired 10 more people, but yet they're able to pay their people better because they're making more money, and they're able to treat their employees to different perks and benefits. You know, I just got a message today from a client who his revenue is up 40% year over year from last year. And he said, Dan, I didn't change anything. My average tickets were up $4,000. Our marketing spend is less than 4%. And we grew $1 million in revenue. And I grew my net from like 10% to, I think he's at 18% now. And so like you see stuff like that also, and it's just, again, really gratifying to see how when you put all these processes and this blueprint in place, how these things really can work very well.
And that all like comes from all that, like, you know, disruptive marketing that, you know, you talk about. And for the listeners, those who don't know about disruptive marketing, like Shreya and I really wanted to, like, you know, discuss this with you so that, you know, we can provide more value. So Dan, please share more about that.
So the idea, and again, the data that we keep getting is just amazing. And I know I've shared some of this data with you, Mandeep, because I know you're a data guy, because you're driven by what is actually going to convert those visits to the website. And so looking at some of this data as far as how many people are now searching the name of these disruptive brands in those communities. And so you look at the people who are not typing in heating repair near me and instead just typing in the brand that they've seen there on their neighbor's driveway, or they've seen in the community, and they keep seeing it. And so it's this battle of the minds of the consumers out in the street. And if I can capture their minds by doing something disruptive, doing something that feels unique and different, then I'm going to win online. I'm going to help you build a website that will be, first of all, on brand. Second of all, converting well, because they already have an expectation based on the visuals that they've been seeing in the community, right? So they expect great things because we branded them in a way to have Mrs. Jones expect great things, right? So, you know, if you look at the comparisons of conversion rates on a company with a poor brand versus a good brand. I mean, it sounds painfully obvious to say this, but the better brands are going to win every day, you know? Yeah. And so you'll spend more, you spend less money with Google. I mean, I like to say that Google loves, you know, really poor brands. That's their favorite customer.
That's
you have
true.
A poor brand, you're going to just keep paying Google, and that will never stop until you basically stop that hemorrhaging and build a better brand for your business.
No, 100%. Yeah. And I think you always mentioned, like, I have seen your post that you mentioned, like, this company, this brand has got like 110% growth, 200. So how do you get those numbers? Like, do you like go get those numbers like from the companies? Like, how do you measure them?
I mean, a lot of them are just really excited to share the numbers. They're like, oh my God, like we're up this much. And again, I don't want people to believe for a second that the shiny new brand solves poorly run companies. You know, it's part of the mix. It's part of the blueprint. There's other things that they're doing, like working with Joe, working with you guys to figure out how to do marketing well, how to do their online stuff well, how to do their sales process well. but it's often just the one single piece that's the catalyst for this change that happens. And it affects so many parts of their business that they don't even realize when they signed up with us that that's what was going to happen. So they're truly, genuinely, like, really excited to share the numbers with us. And, you get a random text out of the blue, like, hey, just reaching out, want to let you know, we're killing it. Thank you so much. And like, that's what drives us. And even the people here too, I think what's different about KickCharge from a branding agency that maybe works with bigger companies like Fortune 500 companies, which I never wanted to do ever in my career. I wanted the work to make a difference, but when we share those messages with the team, that's, I think, also what gets them excited, because while we love making cool and pretty things, and it's neat, it's more about how those things affect people's lives. And
Right.
some of the people here worked for bigger agencies. They worked on the Verizon account or something like that. Like, how many lives have I changed if I had helped Verizon sell a few more phone subscriptions?
That is
Right.
an interesting way to see it. I love that.
So that part, I think, is what these guys and everyone here gets really excited about, is the work that we're doing. And we really believe this to our heart, is that we design as if lives were at stake. And that's why I get, like, you see me sometimes online and I get somewhat a little, I don't know if mad's the right word, probably is the right word.
About like the white vans with a home service sort of thing. What does that mean?
Just things that are done so poorly, and
Mhm.
it makes me sad that somebody sold them that for their business, when their livelihood is dependent on that designer knowing how to do their jobs, and they failed so miserably. That makes me angry. Just the same way, Mandeep, when you see a website and that it was never built correctly, it's never going to help them get good rankings. And it's sad, like, they got sold something by someone that they expected to have an expertise in delivering a product that would help their business grow, and it's going to fail. It's never going to work properly. So when I see that stuff, it makes me sad, because there's obviously wasted money, but it's also just missed opportunities. Like, this owner's livelihood is based on you knowing how to do your job, and you sold him something that will never accomplish that. So it makes me sad when I see owners struggling sometimes, because part of the reasons why they're struggling is because that brand is not helping their marketing efforts. It's hampering them, and they're working against it. It's why their close rates are so bad. It's why they can't increase their average tickets. It's why they can't hire more people. So that somewhat gets me a little sad. And I hate to be critical like that, but I can look at things and I know that it's not going to work. It's not going to achieve the objectives. And I feel like whoever sold it to them should know better. That's just kind of how I feel.
Yeah, and covering this subject, I want to go a little deeper on it, just more specifically what you look for in these mistakes, so people are a little bit more educated in their decisions that they're making for their branding. What do you think is overdue for innovation and transformation in this space? And what are those specific things that people can look out for and be able to tell if, it's not going to be as effective for them, the branding?
I think, there's a lot of things that are not being done well,
Most
but
important ones.
I like people to understand that the brand needs to communicate a promise to that consumer. It needs to set a level of expectation to that homeowner as far as what they would get if you came to their home. And so the brand needs to counter the bias that homeowners bring to the table about working with contractors in general. And it's a stereotype, but that's the definition of a bias. It's so a lot of owners sometimes develop brands that are built for them. Like, they personally like it. And they forget that the demographic is a woman. Okay. 70 to 80% of the home service decision making occurs from a woman. Right. So these overtly masculine brands don't make her feel at ease. Like, she's already worried about who's coming to her home. So why would we put a brand out that is intimidating to her? So that's certainly one thing. Like you mentioned earlier, like just the white vans. Like, if you're running around with white vans, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's really time to start thinking about not running around in a white van, because it's very difficult to be disruptive with a white van. So you tend to blend in and not stand out. You see a lot of mascots that are just rendered poorly, not rendered for the medium. Like, the medium is an outdoor medium, right? So when you think about how mascots have to be rendered, as a certain way they have to be rendered so that they're legible and you could discern them from a distance. It's not looking at the monitor, it's looking at something that's 15, 20 feet away at most times. So you see issues like that. And then there's just fundamental graphic design things that you continue to see.
Red and blue. You want to touch base on red and blue, which is like
red and blue. Listen, red and blue is a common color scheme, and that's basically the problem with it, is that it's a common color scheme. So, thinking that every time someone sees red and blue, they're immediately going to think about your brand only and not a whole bunch of other things that are red and blue, especially your competitors, where a lot of them are probably already red and blue. Like, wouldn't you be better off if you were, orange and apple green?
Right. Yeah. That was the last one I saw, that somebody's like, what do you think? There's the blue tones, and then there's this orange one. And then they were like, I don't really like the orange one, but that's the one Dan likes. And I'm like, then pick that one, because I see why. It's disruptive. It's disruptive branding. It's that sunset orange that maybe you wouldn't expect, and it stuck out a lot more. So they picked that one. Obviously.
Yeah. This morning I literally got goosebumps. So you recently created that brand, Dan, it's called Macasm. And
and
Macasm, right?
Macasm. Yeah.
Macasm. And the website, we're working on the website, the homepage just came out. Oh my God. The colors are like, just outstanding. Like, you talk about disruptive. And I'm so proud of your work, Dan. Like, and my team gets excited once they get logo, not like regular logo, but brand from your side. So keep doing great work.
And that's Maynard. I mean, listen, Maynard's a really good guy, and him and his wife, both. Really small company, and this was a huge expenditure for him. So he's, again, trusting us with his livelihood, basically. And we renamed his company too. So that was another piece of it. Yes. And he just messaged me. I'm looking at his screenshot here, the best decision of my life. Like, that just means the world to us, and he's got the right team with you working on the digital. Like, to me, this is a no-brainer. Like, he's just going to kill it. Like, and it's really exciting to see stuff like that happen.
Appreciate it. And I think this is one thing that I know, like, a lot of people know about this, like, we always, like, as a human being, like, I also had like setbacks, but maybe in childhood. And it's not about just financial setbacks. Sometimes you get like, health wise. And I want to know, like, an audience want to know, what's your take on your life? What's your perspective on your life after having open heart surgery?
So
I know it's like very
open heart surgery was 100% like the best thing that ever happened to me. So obviously, my kids being born, like, that's a different category, right? But for me, you really it really forced me, first of all, to take stock and to recognize that my time here is limited. Like, I shouldn't really be here even today, right? So the surgeon basically saved my life. Like, they did some tests and they found a bunch of stuff wrong with me. And it was actually a second opinion. The first cardiologist said I was fine. Right.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. They were like, you would be dead very likely within the next 60 days, like, if you hadn't taken care of this. So it forced me to take stock. It forced me to live a life that is more gracious, to be more grateful for what I have, and to also the notion that every day is really a gift, and to really make the most of it. And so I've really tried my best to live in that mindset. They wheel you into that OR, and it's a really scary place. I don't know how else to say it, and like there's no hearses with luggage racks that are following you into the OR or to the funeral home if you don't make it, so I've tried to live a little bit more in the moment, tried to be grateful, and just incredibly blessed to still be here, and to be able to still change people's lives and help people in the trades is like, I just feel really fortunate that happened. So yeah, I mean, obviously the not dying part was kind of cool, but
I know.
it was literally like one of the best things to ever happen to me, and I just always just try to look at life from that mindset. First of all, you don't know what's happening tomorrow. So if there's things that you want to accomplish sooner, just recognize that tomorrow may never come. Right. So don't put off the things that you can really do today. Like my wife and I, we bought a shore house. We bought a piece of land and built our dream house. That was after the surgery. That happened because I realized that all the reasons we had for waiting, first of all, they were not really logical reasons, but we always just thought we had more time, and we almost didn't have more time. So,
by the way, I love the name. It's something is like seize the day.
Seize the day. That's what we named this the shore house, and so just recognize that, and just understand that every day truly is a gift to be grateful for, and to take care of yourself too. Like, listen, I'm not the poster child for cardiovascular disease. I've been racing bicycles for 25 years, and I ride a bike 125 miles a week. So I don't really look like somebody that should have heart disease, right? But genetics, just the way it goes. Take care of yourself. There's a lot of people depending on you. There's a lot of people who want you to stick around, and put your health first. I know as entrepreneurs, we're all about grinding, and who can grind the most seems to get the most accolades. And yeah, I grinded. I still grind my fair share, but I'm trying to smell the roses a bit more, and just recognize that.
Thank you for sharing. And I still remember last week, and I've been going through with my left eye. I was getting
I remember you said that.
blurry vision, and I was waiting for my doctor appointment. Like there was no appointment, and then I got it for next week. But I texted you. We were chatting. You said, "Man, Deep, it's your eye. Just get that. Just see that doctor as soon as possible." And I showed it on the same day. I'm still on steroid eye drops, but yeah, you got to take care of yourself. Thanks for sharing your journey.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious your gratitude radiates off of you. To me, that you're a very grateful person. You've had an experience like that. And I just want to say to anyone listening, if you've been affected by KickCharge, which is a lot of people, and you want to make maybe a testimonial video, or if you want to reach out to KickCharge to contact Dan and his team about rebranding your company and transforming the way that you guys do things, who are the best people for them to reach out to, Dan?
Sure. They could always reach out to me. They could go to our website at kickcharge.com and fill out a contact form, and somebody on the team will get back to them. And I would say too, and I'm not trying to plug my book, because no one ever writes a book to make any money, right? But if people are starting a business or thinking about starting the business, or they're a few years into it and maybe things aren't going exactly the way they had thought, I wrote the book Branded Not Blanded sort of as a roadmap for people to follow. I wish more people had read that book before they started their businesses, because I think it would save so much heartache and money down the road. But read the book. I that's one of the nice things about the book too, is I get so much great feedback. And a lot of the feedback is, I wish I had read this sooner. So in my mind, I'm on this mission to try to get it in as many hands as possible, as soon as possible, so that they don't keep making these mistakes if possible.
Yeah, we're going to link it below too.
So, yeah, we're gonna link it. It's one of the best books I've read, and I got inspired that I want to open my home service company, maybe trades. So
that's what it does to you. Yeah, because I got it too I don't know if you remember, you're at your booth.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got $20 cash. Give me that book, because there's nothing that I've wanted more than a trade specific branding book.
branding
Mhm.
book.
to me is like Christmas. So
Yeah.
absolutely get your hands on that
And
and click the link below for that.
yeah, we'll
Awesome.
definitely link everything. And Dan, you like you mentioned, right? You don't make money from those books, and appreciate. I think what you have written in that, it's gold. I think everyone should grab a copy of that.
Thank you. I
And
appreciate
again,
that.
and it was like amazing to have you on our show. A lot of like good insights about branding. A lot of things have good things happening with Tommy and Shreya and I. We're excited to meet you at
Yeah, we'll see you in a couple weeks, it seems like, right? Yeah, it's like a month, I think 30 days.
30 days.
We'll see you at Profit Rocket.
Profit
See you
Rocket
there.
and Home Service Freedom, a lot of other events, and
Yeah.
yeah, it was fantastic. Thank you to the listeners. And Shreya, you want to wrap up, like close?
Well, till next time, thank you so much for your support once again every week, everybody that tunes in and listens. And you should contact KickCharge and transform your company because I've seen it in real life, in real time, what it does to companies, and I could definitely attest to that. I actually went through a Dan rebrand when I was in the field in HVAC, so I saw the effects as an employee of it, and it's amazing. So thanks so much for coming on the show, and till next time.